Can I have a seat tomorrow, Steve?
Sure.
No,
I'm not playing tomorrow. I'm playing Tuesday.
You know, I was watching this way, but in fact, I was talking to Nick because he brought me in. I just don't want to watch.
You always have a seat.
I don't want to look at him.
Oh,
I'm all in on the river.
Pink raising here. Ellie calls on the button with the deuces. Hellmuth has jacks. Makes it 5K, and Airball looks down at ace-queen also.
And Airball is just going off in this game.
In this wild hand from No Gamble, No Future, we are playing 100, 200, 400 in this hand. Pink raises it up to $1,200 out of his $60,000 effective stack. Eliezer calls on the button with pocket twos. Then Phil Hellmuth, the self-proclaimed greatest poker player to ever live, made it $5,000 for pocket jacks, about $40,000 deep. Nik Airball, who loves to battle, is next in the big blind with ace-queen as well. Let's see what he does.
But the Hellmuth 3-bet, of course, worrisome.
Not too much, Jeff. There it is. 4-bet.
To 11K.
Oh boy, oh boy. I don't have aces. This is rough for me.
Hellmuth calls.
I'm gonna check.
Nik Airball bumps it up to 11,000. This is a very dicey spot because if he makes it 11 and then Hellmuth jams, it's pretty annoying because you're getting really good odds to call, but you should probably fold against Phil Hellmuth. That said, ace-queen is a really good 4-bet bluffing hand in general because you block aces, queens, and ace-king, all of which will put a lot of money in. So unless you think Hellmuth is just super duper weak and tight and passive, I love re-raising in this spot, which is what Airball does. He makes it 11K. The other ace-queen from Pink folds, Eliezer folds, and then Hellmuth says, let's see the flop, which I think is fine, especially if Airball is not re-raising in this spot very often. You have to realize, even Nik Airball is going to have a good hand in this spot a lot of the time, so I don't think you want to shove all in, even though you are out of position and the stack-to-pot ratio is getting pretty shallow with the pocket jacks, but it could be a very reasonable play if Airball is blasting it. I'm not sure what mood he was in today.
Checks in the dark with 33K behind and 25K in this pot. 9-4-4, safe flop for Hellmuth and the jacks.
I like you. You always have a seat at this game.
By the way, that's a trick that first try. I never tried that on other videos.
It's good. It always works.
Yeah, I
It
noticed
goes
that
small,
you're
4,500.
She's the best. She's been around for a long time.
I have.
She loved the game.
I do.
But seriously, I
Hellmuth
didn't
check
see
calls.
that to anyone. I noticed
The flop comes 9-4-4, 2 clubs. Hellmuth has none. Airball has none. Hellmuth checks from the small blind. Nik Airball then bets 4,500, about 20% pot only, which is fine and reasonable, assuming his range is very strong, which I gotta presume it should be, and it is in the spot, because he knows Phil Hellmuth doesn't get too insane all that often, and if Phil Hellmuth calls the re-raise, Phil Hellmuth has something. So while I do think Airball can bet with pretty much his entire range in the spot for a tiny amount, if it does contain aces, kings, queens, maybe jacks, maybe ace-king, maybe ace-queen, if his range contains a whole lot of nonsense, then he's going to be bluffing far too often. He goes 4,500. Phil Hellmuth decides to call. Shoving all in could be reasonable, or check raising could be very reasonable, but he decides to play it slow. Let's head to the turn.
You are probably younger than I watched from TV. The other one I noticed
King on the
younger
turn.
than I watched from TV from 20 years ago was Johnny Chen. First time I noticed him is
He never ages, does he?
He never ages.
And you know, I was born Jennifer Chan. I could be related to Johnny Chan.
And Nick will keep firing.
I told Johnny Chan that. He just laughed. He's from Canton also.
Hellmuth has to hate this card. It's a 4-bet pot.
Really?
Yeah.
Unless he just doesn't believe Airball has anything at any point.
Check.
Still coming along for the ride.
The turn is a rough one for Hellmuth. It is the king of diamonds putting up an overcard that obviously nails Nik Airball's most likely bluffing hand with ace-king. Hellmuth checks. Airball bets 7,700, probably as he would do with ace-king. Phil Hellmuth is a non-believer, which I think is definitely the right play against Nik Airball. Let's go to the river.
And river's a full house.
I win.
But Airball checks back.
Jack's full?
That's sort of a nice hand, Phil.
I would say so.
The river is the jack of spades, giving Phil Hellmuth a full house, but somehow, some way, it goes check, check. Hellmuth should definitely not lead the river, but I do think this is a spot where Airball probably should bluff, because if you think about his range to re-raise before the flop, and then bet the flop tiny, and the turn tiny, this might be one of the few bluffs he actually has on this run out. That said, he knows his opponent. He knows he's against the greatest player in the world, and Hellmuth is good enough to not fold a full house. What I want to know, though, before we wrap it up today, is do you think that Hellmuth would have folded to an all-in if the river was a more blank card? Or what about if it completed a flush, like the 3 of clubs? Take a second, think about it, and let me know what you think Hellmuth would do against an all-in on the blank rivers, or maybe even a scary river, in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, click the like and subscribe button for me, please. While we have seen Phil Hellmuth make some pretty nitty folds, I think he's played with Nik Airball enough to know that Nik Airball likes to blast off with airballs. Therefore, I think Hellmuth planned on calling on pretty much any river. And that would have resulted in Airball getting stacked most of the time.